Our second speaker this evening is Sister Susan Connelly, a sister of St Joseph, the Catholic religious congregation founded by St Mary MacKillop. She spent 17 years with the Mary MacKillop Institute for East Timorese Studies. Susan is studying aspects still of the relationship between Australia and Timor-Leste. The treatment of East Timorese asylum seekers in the past opened her eyes to Australia's inhumane treatment of asylum seekers. So we're going back well into the 1990s there. On August 29 last year, Sister Susan was one of 7 religious leaders who refused police orders to leave the Prime Minister's office while they staged a prayer protest over offshore detention centres for refugees. So, Sister Susan is one of the conveners of the Timor Sea Justice Campaign.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, Janelle. Look, it's amazing what you learn. I learned things tonight from Janelle that I didn't know, so we must all take heart. It can be such a complicated business that sometimes you see people just sort of glazing over, you know? But look, it's actually become much simpler, as you will see later, from what I'm going to say. But I didn't know that more countries have signed UNCLOS than any other UN instrument. I find that's wonderful. There was something else you said, Janelle, which I found absolutely so true. You said that Timor was not treated seriously. And my question is, when has Timor ever been treated seriously? And I'm going to think about that, because that's quite a profound statement, and that's part of what has happened over the time. And you were speaking about Australia's tendency to be saying, oh yes, you know, we will maritime boundaries, of course, and then do the opposite. That is exactly what has happened throughout the whole history. I have been through the Australian government's book, East Timor in Transition, an Australian policy challenge. Look, it was printed in 2000. Its first chapter is called The Historical Context, and that is the part that I have been through with a fine-tooth comb. It is the greatest apologia for rubbish that I have heard, and it points up this point. Do you know, up even until 1999, the Australian government, all of them, were claiming that their basic position was self-determination for East Timor. They could say that and write that in black and white. We've always upheld self-determination. And it's exactly the same there. So, like, words are cheap, are they not? I couldn't believe it. I've got "oh my God" written in the margin of this book over and over. I wonder, you were speaking about the unitisation agreement. Do you remember that wonderful man we had, Peter Andrew?
Yes.
The member for Connelly.
Yep.
What an amazing man. I remember how angry he was that they only had a few hours to read that. The parliamentarians only had a few hours to read that before they were supposed to vote on it. He was so angry about that. God bless that good man. Now, there's one more thing I just wanted to comment on there before I went on, because I found that most interesting. Yes, it was about the moratorium on talking about boundaries. Now, it is absolutely gobsmacking to think that a country could take another country and say, okay, we're going to give you 50% instead of the 18% that we were going to give you, because we're so generous, we're going to give you 50% and we'll keep 50% on condition that you do not speak of boundaries for 50 years. It was incredible. So it wasn't a 50-50 split, it was a 50-50-50 split. Now, just let me tell you how I was with the Minister for the Natural Resources. I don't think that's the correct term, but Mr. Alfredo Perez. I was in Timor, and he very kindly got onto me through his sister, who is a Canossian sister whom I know, Aurora, And she said, my brother wants to see you. And he sent this big car around to the conference. And I get in his air-conditioned car. It was wonderful. We went round and he gave me 3 hours by myself in his office explaining the 3 new cities planned for the south coast of Timor. He was so proud of it, and he was going to tell the veterans all about this. This is at least 5 years ago. It was certainly before 2012. In the course of conversation, towards the end, I said to him, but now, Alfredo, what about maritime boundaries? No, I'm sorry, I can't speak about that. Like, there was nobody else in the room. And I mean, that taught me how sincerely the Timorese took their agreement there. And then all the time, or now that to have found out that we had been listening in, like, it really makes you very embarrassed. Anyway, friends, the campaign is on. It is on. There are so many Australians like your good selves who have had a gutful of this and who are saying to themselves, why cannot Australia just sit down and accede to the request of our dear wartime friend Timor and finalise this border? Now, just a little aside, Australians should be out on the streets. To think that this government, after 200 years of Western settlement, we still haven't got a complete border. There's 1.8% of it missing, and strangely enough, it's the bit that's just opposite the coastline of Timor-Leste. The Australian border is not complete. We must not forget that. Now, people all around Australia are really angry about this. And the Timor Sea campaign takes the form of an alliance of state groups. In New South Wales, we're called the Timor Sea Justice Forum New South Wales. Like, I mean, forum. What's a forum? It was a name picked out of a hat. Okay, it's all right. It's a forum. We talk and we do. In Melbourne, they call themselves the Timor Sea Justice Campaign. Canberra, I don't know what Peter Joby's got, his group's got another thing. Brisbane have started. They're up and running in Darwin. I haven't heard of Perth. South Australia, that's the Australia East Timor Friendship Association, part of those. But we've all got exactly the same aim in mind. We want to go further than saying, Australia, please negotiate, because we all know negotiate is a very loose term. We don't want this going on for the next 20 years. What we're asking is for the blessed thing to be finalised, and to be finalised as soon as possible. Now, there are 2 websites that you could get onto for very important information. One of them is called TIMFO, Timor Forum, TIMFO. That's all it is. Just look up TIMFO on the web. Or Timor Sea Justice Campaign will give you Melbourne's. And they've got a statement to the Foreign Minister going at the moment. If you got on there to the internet tonight, you can click on and sign that statement to the Foreign Minister. You're good. I'm going to talk mainly about the New South Wales. We've been going for about 4 years. We have meetings when we need to. Sometimes we have big meetings, sometimes small. There's a small group that sort of I check things out with, mainly. And we've put on things like we had Kirsty Sword, so we were happy to have Kirsty there at North Sydney. And we were very happy to involve ourselves with the visit of His Excellency Janana Guzmao, I think it was last year, was it? Early April last year. That was terrific. We've made banners, and I've got those banners at home, and they will be trotted out again before long, I can tell you, big banners. We've been visiting members of Parliament. I've visited a few, we've visited a few senators. We've got a lot of people who are working on visiting, and on the TIMFO website there's a letter that people could use to get an appointment. There is background material, just a sheet of background material to leave with the Minister. There are talking points, there are maps, there's a whole lot of stuff that people could use. We're talking about a Senate inquiry, so the whole of Australia, we're talking about how the best we could go about getting one of those things going. And this last couple of weeks, we've all been involved in trying to get 2 big submissions done. One to the Foreign policy white paper, which we managed to get off. The team was that New South Wales got one off. I know that the others did too. And tomorrow, the submission to the CMAT's termination, there's the Joint Standing Committee on Treaties is looking at the consequences of Australia terminating the CMAT's treaty. So they've asked for public input into that. So we've been building ourselves around the head over that, especially today when my email doesn't work. So I really don't know what's happened. So that anyway. Now, but what I really want to enthuse you all about tonight is our petition. Now, there's a formal petition. I've been on to the Petitions Committee, most helpful people in the Petitions Committee. They have checked the wording. I've been through their website with a fine-tooth comb, and I have found that there are differences, quite good differences really, with the Parliament making it easier for citizens to have their say. We did a petition some years ago about trying to get an Order of Australia for Timor. We knew it would never happen, but by gee, a lot of people got on the bandwagon and a lot of people learned a lot of history from that, so it was successful in one way. We're going to have a look at this petition now, and I just want to point out a couple of things. Under the new rules of the Petitions Committee, people do not have to put their addresses down. Okay, so they've only got to print their name clearly and sign their name. And that's what it says here, name. Please print clearly. Because if our group, I've got 12 people who are working with me on this, ready to go in April, if we see anything that's illegible, we will just, it's our job to cross it out, okay? So I'll be the principal petitioner, so I've got to take responsibility and I won't let anything go that can't be read. I mean, I know signatures can't be read usually, but people's names, we need to do the right thing. They've made it as easy as possible, so the least we can do is cooperate. But one of the best things about this is, as of last year, paper petitions, under the rules of the Parliamentary Petitions Committee, the paper petition can go online through their website. Now, they've got certain rules about it. It can only be up for a month. And of course, you can't sign both. You couldn't sign the online and the other, so we've got to be careful of that. But it will give access to other people to sign online. So I'm very pleased to see that change, because online, they say, is the way of the future. But friends, it's not the way of the present. Paper is very important. Do you know we've got 737 signatures already without any pushing, without doing it? Because you're going outside church on a Sunday and you say, would you like to sign this? And they look at you and say, yes, no sign, Outside anywhere. This is going to be going to schools, and that's another thing. I asked specifically, is there any age limit? And they said so long as a person can read and write, they can sign. Of course, I wouldn't touch primary schools. I think that's a bridge too far. But certainly from year 7, any child that can understand 3 sentences asking, and this is the terms of it. This petition draws the attention of the House of Representatives to the absence of an internationally recognised border between Australia and Timor-Leste. We therefore ask the House to take all appropriate measures to assist the government, assist them, because some of them don't know anything about it, to finalise as soon as possible a fair and permanent maritime boundary between Australia and Timor-Leste, using median line principles in accordance with current international law, and we ask that this be done in good faith, no more bugging, friends, and as a matter of urgency. On the bugging, of course, I heard Ramos Horta say, every nation does lies, but not every nation gets caught. So I thought that was rather good. Now, now, what I would like you to do, I don't want you to sign this tonight, and please don't leave me as I want you to take as many as you like. You can get them off the website as well. Even if you only get 1 signature, post it back to me. There's no embarrassment about this. I'm very happy to receive one signature, because one signature is another Australian citizen who's put their name down for Timor. So all you've got to do is, you know, we must keep the head of Australia Post in the comfort to which they are accustomed by sending a letter with $1. I'm sorry, but you've got to do it. Now, there's an added bonus for this. On the back, for yourself, there's a terrific map, and that's from the Maritime Boundaries Office in Timor. You can look at this yourself, it's really good. And there is a statement which puts the position. There's no border. Don't worry about what DFAT tell you. They will tell you anything. They will. And the next thing I'm going through with the fine-tooth comb is that supposed fact sheet from the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. It is not a fact. It's an assemblage of what we have nowadays, alternative facts, or omissions, which are just as bad. Here we have, easy to read, time to draw the line. Let's get behind it, friends. Get as many signatures as you can and get them sent to me. This will be presented in Parliament in August, so we've got to get moving. Thanks very much.